The Hunter.
Never seems to be anything decent on TV these days. It's always documentaries or news, and it's always bad news, moaned Cheekio as he flicked through the channels. Why can't they make proper programmes? He continued. Cheekio Chimp held the remote control in his hand and pointed it at the TV. Each time he pressed the button, he nodded in disgust and uttered the words, "Rubbish! Rubbish! Rubbish!" Cheekio was just about to give up when he suddenly saw a tiger writhing in pain. "I wonder what's going on here?" Cheekio asked himself. "Maybe he had a bad lunch," he chuckled. Cheekio continued to watch the programme with interest. The camera zoomed in on the tiger, and it was then apparent the poor tiger was injured and in a great deal of pain. Then a voice said, "Just another example of how the poor defenseless animals of the jungle are being treated by the evilest predators on earth, humans." "That is absolutely disgusting," said Cheekio in disbelief. "Who would do this kind of thing, and why?" asked Cheekio as he shrugged his shoulders. "This is the work of the hunter, and all in the name of sport," replied the voice on TV. Cheekio looked confused. "I don't know which is more shocking, the injured tiger or the man on TV that just answered my question," thought Cheekio as he scratched his head. Just then, Cheekio's phone made a bleep to signify a message. Cheekio checked his phone and scrolled down to the messages. "Whoa, I almost forgot I need to get going, as that was a reminder from my dear friend Ellezina to meet up at the pool," muttered Cheekio as he made for the front door. Ellezina Elephant looked at her phone and noted that Cheekio had read the message she had sent a few moments ago. "Cheekio should be on his way," said Ellezina as she put her phone away. "He is always late," replied Himakoo Hippo, nodding his head. "Up to mischief, no doubt," said Zebgaan as he stared back into the darkness of the jungle. The three friends were waiting patiently for Cheekio by the pool as usual. It was a beautiful day on a warm, sunny afternoon. Suddenly, the pleasant scene was replaced with carnage. The birds flew from the trees, and animals of all sizes and descriptions began to stampede past the pool and towards the jungle. "Run for your lives!" The three friends looked up into the trees, and swinging from a low branch was Cheekio, screaming, "Run!" Ellezina, Himakoo and Zebgaan ran as fast as they could in the same direction as the other animals that had fled. Himakoo and Ellezina, the slowest of the three, were tiring very quickly. Zebgaan was way ahead. Cheekio kept an eye on the chaser from the safety of the trees. In the distance, Cheekio could see a familiar image charging towards Himakoo and Ellezina. "Oh no!" shrieked Cheekio. "It's Lizarov!" The ferocious Lizarov Lion normally looked very fierce, but today he looked concerned. He quickly caught up with the two large, slow friends and roared, "Out of my way!" Then he overtook the two animals, who looked at each other in amazement. "Who is he looking for today, if it's not us?" asked Ellezina as she caught her breath. "Maybe he's chasing Zebgaan," replied Himakoo as he collapsed to the floor in exhaustion. "He's not chasing anyone. Lizarov is the one being chased," replied Cheekio as he pointed towards the pool. Cheekio climbed down the tree and joined his friends Ellezina and Himakoo, who were hiding in some bushes. They could hear the roar of the predator that was chasing Lizarov, but were unable to see because of all the dust that had blown into the air when it stopped suddenly. Once the dust began to settle, they could see the huge beast. It had two large eyes that were shining brightly, 4 muddy wheels, and a body made of armor of the strongest metal. It was a jeep. Within the jeep was someone holding a pair of binoculars, scanning the area. "Who is that?" asked Ellezina as she peered over the bush. "I have never seen it before," whispered Himakoo nervously. "I know who it is. I saw it on TV earlier today, and it's the most feared predator on Earth, a human." "A human? He doesn't look very frightening or fierce like Lizarov Lion," replied Ellezina. "That hat single eyeglass and moustache makes him look ridiculous, Himakoo sniggered. In the programme, the human injured a large tiger. He must have some strength, confirmed Cheekio. The human put away his binoculars, turned his vehicle around and drove off in the direction he came. Again, the dust masked his retreat, and once settled, he had disappeared. We need to be extra careful. I will keep an eye out when I'm up in the trees until he leaves, said Cheekio. The three friends agreed, and moments later Zebgaan, who was hiding in the tall grass, joined them and was informed of the hunter. The next day, the four friends planned to go on a search for the hunter. Cheekio was high up in the trees, Zebgaan walked through the tall grass which camouflaged him from sight, and Ellezina and Himakoo walked shoulder to shoulder, weaving in and out of the trees and bushes. It was very quiet, not a single sound from the jungle. The only sound that could be heard was Cheekio swinging from branch to branch, and the rustling of Zebgaan in the tall grass. Ellezina and Himakoo were silent as they tiptoed onwards. In the distance they could see Lizarov Lion making his way to a clearing in the jungle. Just above him was a huge cage dangling under the branch of a tree. It was being suspended by a rope which was tied behind the tree. Also behind the tree was a dark, shadowy figure. Suddenly, a large crashing sound was heard, and then a mighty roar. "How dare you do this to me? I am king of the jungle!" roared Lizarov. Lizarov was trapped in the cage which had fallen on top of him. Someone had cut the rope. It was the hunter. "Oh no! The hunter's trapped Lizarov!" shrieked Ellezina. "Is that good or bad news?" whispered Himakoo. "Lizarov is a member of the jungle family. Despite our differences, he is still our king," replied Zebgaan as he emerged from the tall grass. "We have to help poor Lizarov Lion," demanded Cheekio as he thought of a plan. "We have to lure the hunter away from the cage and then release Lizarov," suggested Cheekio. "I wonder if he likes cookies?" asked Ellezina. "Oh, don't be silly. He is a hunter. He wants more than cookies." "I wouldn't mind one though," replied Himakoo as he drooled. "There's no time for a picnic. Let's save Lizarov," snapped Zebgaan. Cheekio ordered Himakoo to dig a hole and Ellezina to fetch some twigs and branches. Once the hole was dug, Ellezina covered it with the twigs and small branches. Finally, Zebgaan covered the hole with leaves. "Perfect! Now let's get the plan into action," said Cheekio and gave the thumbs up. The hunter was in his jeep and was keeping guard of his prize. Lizarov was pacing inside the cage, feeling helpless in his temporary home. Cheekio had swung to the tree that had the cage attached to it and kept his eye on the hunter. "Yoo-hoo!" shouted Zebgaan. The hunter looked up from his jeep and then jumped out of it and ran towards Zebgaan. Zebgaan began to run. The hunter was chasing. Zebgaan could see the hole that was covered with leaves. He looked over his shoulder and slowed down and could see the hunter not too far behind. Once the hunter was only a few inches away, Zebgaan jumped over the hole. The hunter slipped on the leaves and disappeared from sight. He had fallen into the trap. Cheekio tied the rope to Ellezina's trunk. "Pull!" shouted Cheekio. "Pull!" shouted Lizarov. Slowly the cage rose and eventually Lizarov was free. "Where is that rogue? How dare he try to capture me?" roared Lizarov. They all headed towards the hole. Looking up at the 5 animals was the hunter, covered in mud. "How does that feel?" laughed Cheekio as he pointed at the angry hunter. "Get me out!" shouted the hunter. "On one condition, you leave the jungle, never to return," demanded Cheekio. The hunter agreed. They threw the rope in the hole and Ellezina pulled him to the top. The hunter got into his jeep and drove off into the distance. "I have to say a big thank you," said Lizarov as he shook each of the friends' hands. "Let's have a photo together," he continued. They all agreed. Lizarov placed his camera phone onto a rock and set the timer for a group photograph. He returned to the group and stood in front of his new friends and stared back at the camera phone. "Say cheese, everyone," said Lizarov. Moments later, Lizarov returned to the phone camera to see the photo.
You rotten scoundrels!
Roared Lizarov. The only person in the photo was Lizarov. All you could see of the four friends was their legs as they ran off. The end.